The Florida Project is a movie I went into completely blind. The only two things I knew about it was that Willem Dafoe was in it and that it was filmed in Orlando, Florida. What I didn't expect was that this would be one of the most gut-wrenching movies I have ever seen. Before I get into my thoughts on this film, it is worth mentioning that there will be spoilers in this video. The movie primarily follows Mooney, a young girl who lives with her mother in a motel located just outside of Disney World. We get to see the ways that she and her friends entertain themselves, which notably includes spitting on other people's cars,
Get your ass down here right now and clean it up.
and burning down abandoned buildings. Random side note, but I totally thought that this movie was the story behind this meme, but it turns out it's just a coincidence. But getting back on track, the movie is about the dynamic between Mooney and her mother, Haley. While watching interviews with the director Sean Baker, I found it interesting how when he was casting for the film, he said that he was looking for more of a sister dynamic than a mother and daughter relationship. This really shows in the story too, as Haley doesn't seem to care what Mooney does or gets herself into. She also doesn't seem to care what she exposes Mooney to as well, which I'll elaborate on more later. Part of what made the movie so special and influential to me was what Sean Baker was able to capture on an emotional level. The carefree nature of being a child, and also showing innocence in its purest form. Mooney does things like spitting on cars and burning buildings down because she has no mother or father figure to point her in the right direction. Because of this, she runs around doing as she pleases, and she is none the wiser to what she's doing and the kind of impact that her choices can make.
I failed as a mother, Mooney. You've disgraced me.
Haley?
Yeah, Mom, you're a disgrace.
Someone who takes notice of the mischievous behavior of Mooney is the motel manager, Bobby, played by none other than the Prada-wearing Willem Dafoe.
This is maybe Prada. I don't know.
Bobby is a sort of father figure to the entire motel. Everyone comes to him with problems, and he provides solutions.
Have a nice day. I love you too.
He's introduced to Mooney and Haley because Mooney starts to cause problems around the motel. Things like cutting off the power to everyone who lives there.
Oh, fuck.
He takes an interest in Haley and Mooney's living situation and really sticks his neck out for Haley. Even when she can't pay rent, he helps her find a new place to stay. But Haley continues to push the limits of what she can get away with as Mooney's caretaker. In order to pay rent, Haley turns to crime. Of the crimes she's committed, one of the lesser ones is stealing magic bands from people going to Disney World and then selling them to other people going to Disney. But on a darker level, she turns to harlotry. I won't spoil the ending or what happens after this point in the film, because I highly encourage you to go check it out for yourself. The movie can be a tough watch, but I think that's why it's so special. It makes you really care about the characters, and you really hope that things turn out better for them. There's no better way to describe it other than that it feels real. They also filmed at a real motel, and the helicopters flying around in the movie, they couldn't get them to stop because the budget wasn't big enough, so they just wrote it into the script. Because of all these factors, it makes it so much easier to buy these three main characters as real people. Haley truly seems like a disinterested mother, and Bobby seems like a sort of grandfather or father character, and Mooney seems like an unwanted child. The worst part about the Haley character is that Mooney isn't aware of how poorly her mother treats her, which is why Bobby is the hero of the movie. It seems like the Haley character isn't able to grasp the kind of relationship she should have with her daughter until the very end of the movie. Overall, I just found the movie very enjoyable, and it was a good watch. Even though it was emotionally impactful, I think that's why it was so good. Going into it blind helped as well. I didn't know what at all to expect, and what I got, I was blown away with. It's a movie that's not trying to push anything, or be anything that it's not. It's just a story about a mother, her daughter, and a motel manager. And I have to say, I think this is probably one of my favorite movies of all time so far. Probably my top 10 list, I would say. But to wrap up the video, I would like to talk about two takeaways that I got from this movie. A movie can have an incredibly small budget and still tell a very moving and impactful story. It's not always about visual spectacle of movies like Marvel movies, but the emotional depth of the story being told. Kindness and being a good-natured human isn't reserved to any particular group of people. In the movie, we're shown people who might be considered near rock bottom. They're turning to any kind of way to make money and pay rent, but yet we still see good and bad people here. There might be some unfavorable people, but just like real life, the good people make it really worth sticking around for. And good people can be found anywhere. I think that's all I have for today. I may or may not revisit this or any other movie that I've talked about previously sometime in the future, if that makes any sense. But yeah, I think that's about it. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe, and as usual, I will see you again in 2 weeks from now. Goodbye!